Hi everyone. I'm going through this debate online whether the elderly a burden on our society. So 41% say yes, 59% say no. So this comment is about he says no. He say he says absolutely not. The elderly belongs in our society. The elderly have been through it all, seen it all, and meant so much to our younger lives. Speaking as a young 26-year old, I have only survived big problems in my life as well as gave me a lot of great advice to use in everyday life. I hope that I am that honorable and wise when I'm older. So he got advice from older people, so therefore he is saying they're not a burden on our society without considering cost and other things, which is nonsense. This person is saying, especially on our healthcare system, they're a burden. It's difficult to understand how it can be justified spending thousands of dollars on keeping people alive who do not have a chance to get better. They cost our healthcare system far more than any other age group put together, and many people who ever really worked will get more of a pension than I ever will. I believe if elderly people spend their own money on healthcare, then it is justified. They can do whatever they want as long as they're not costing taxpayers more money. Um, this person is saying elderly have contributed more to society. I believe it is debatable because I know a lot of young people like Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg and people like younger people have contributed as equal as older people. So you can't really say that the elderly have contributed, but they got paid for whatever their contributions were. So members of the elderly community already contributed much to society. Okay, and they stimulate the economy. At some point, everyone grows older, and it is the current generation's responsibility to contribute towards the care of the previous ones. I somehow agree with that. Elderly ain't nothing but trouble. I think he is talking about people who are mentally ill. The elderly are a burden on society financially. They are a huge drain, making up half the benefit bill on their own, even though they would prefer you to blame the single moms and immigrants. They wander around clogging up the pavement whilst striking up mindless conversation with cash machine and trying to argue with self-service checkouts. I propose that there should be an OAP curfew imposed, allowing them loose on the streets between the hours of 12 and 2 p.m. on a Wednesday. Also, that should have their own they should have their own checkouts and cash machines with extra large burdens so that the rest of us can get on with working hard in order to pay tax so that they may claim a pension and cold weather payments. This is all. He is saying now the elderly are not a burden on society. If anything, elderly are a great wealth to us. They possess a great deal of old world knowledge, which I believe you can find information on the internet, which is bullshit. This is bullshit. They possess knowledge from real life experiences, which is bullshit. We have computers, algorithms, and AI to help you out. Situations and customs that can help lay the path in an effort to maintain honorable values within our current culture. On another note, the elderly population once took care of us and did not consider it a burden, which makes sense. This point makes sense, but like they possess a great deal of old world knowledge, it just doesn't make sense. Social society and healthcare. Old people do not do nothing and and expect everything in return. They complain about minor things and cause serious problem to the younger generation. The cost of maintaining them should not be the problem of the younger generation. Older people should maintain themselves or have their children maintain their needs, not other people or society. I believe that. I believe this true. The elderly need to go. The elderly put an economic drain on society, which is true. Medical costs and a growing number of pensioners are creating an unsustainable system, yet when they don't retire and become pensioners, they are useless in the workforce. They do not understand technology, and the millions of baby boomers who are hanging around the workforce fill multiple positions that could be replaced with a single educated youth who actually understands how to use time-saving technologies. The government and all its civil services are riddled with them. I know in my department they could cut the number of employees in half just by getting rid of the useless old people. I 100% agree with this fucking comment. What do they do? Very little, add nothing to society, and most drain it and take its resources. Some do not even know their children's name. There should be a mandatory test for people past a certain age to see if they are still capable of basic tasks such as memory tasks test and mobility. If they fail, then they should be in Tana. And I don't know what the fuck is this. Into euthanize. Yes, the elderly and chronically very ill are a burden to society. I'm not talking about older people that are still active and contributing in some way, like taking care of grandchildren and giving useful information that people actually want. I'm talking about elderly people or even those in their 50s and 60s who act like it, that babble on and on, making stories bigger and bigger when no one wants to listen, telling them again and again they can't listen because they can't hear what you're saying. They need a round the clock sitter so they don't hurt themselves falling out of their costly government paid scooter, need someone to feed, change, and bath them, demanding that it be done in a style without so much as thanks so many times. Elderly who need that much care used to die of disease before they became useless. But with the advent of modern medicine, they stay alive on respirators and tube feeding. When young people want to know what's happening in 1920, they need not listen to an elder person trained tainted view, but instead get it from online sources or Google. So really, what good are those kind of elderly? It's just not the elderly. Elderly people get more from Social Security than they pay in, but that is just part of the problem. There is also the problem with people on disability. How in the how is this country going to pay for the elderly on Social Security and the people on disability if everyone stops working just because they do not fell well? There is no money being paid into it. the system needs fixed.